This is the Giants Postcast, your instant game reaction for the San Francisco Giants, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR, or maybe from some of these other postgame shows we do for the Locked On Sports Network. But today, the Giants pulled off their first sweep of the 2025 MLB season as they beat the Houston Astros yet again. Final score 6-3 in this one. Lamonte Wade Jr., Wilmer Flores, and Luis Matos all launched home runs in the win, and Heliot Ramos extended his streak of games with an extra base hit to start the season to 6, something that hasn't been done since the 1960s. In a Giants uniform. Landon Roupp was pretty good at times today in his first start of the season, but also ran into some trouble in that 5th inning. Thankfully, the bullpen was masterful today and shut down the Astros in the later half of this game. So much to break down. We'll talk about all of it, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Giants YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Giants podcast feed and making us your first listen following these Giants games. And make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. My guy, Ben Kaspick, doing a great job. And also, just want to throw it out there. Thank all of you for tuning in and listening. We are officially a top 200 podcast in the sports category on Apple Pods. That is a huge, huge, huge accomplishment for us. Just want to send everybody out there who's tuning in a very heartfelt thank you from me and from Ben. We've been talking about this nonstop the last 2 days, just texting each other about it and how cool this is. Next stop, top 100, baby. Let's go. But for today's game, the Giants, man, starting off where he left off, Wilmer, a 2-run jack to left after Adames got on with a walk in the very first inning of this game. He's already tied his home run total from last season, which he played 71 games in. This is game, 6 that the Giants played? So, I mean, Wilmer on an absolute heater right now, and this guy cannot be stopped. There was a middle-in sinker that hung up in the zone just enough, and when a sinker baller hangs something a little bit high in the zone, it can carry if you can get underneath it. I mean, and Wilmer was able to do that. I mean, I don't know why guys are trying to, try Wilmer on the inside half of the plate. Don't do it. Or, if you're a Giants fan, we kind of want everyone to keep trying that because Wilmer, for his whole career, has always been a pretty good inside hitter. He's got that nice, quick, short swing that gets all over those inside pitches on the inner third of the plate, and he's just not missing anything right now. I'm looking at his Baseball Savant page, and man, I mean, he's squaring, it's early in the season, but he's squaring up damn near 30% of his swings. That is crazy. He's also got a whiff rate under 14%, and he's striking out barely at all, 13.6% of the time. His sweet spot percentage is 36.6%. So this guy is constantly getting the barrel on the ball. All that says to me is that this guy is ultra locked in. He's seeing the ball out of the pitcher's hands super, super, super well, and he is just all over everything that comes over the plate. He is not chasing things. He's when he's swinging, he's squaring the ball up too. It's not like he's making marginal contact. This guy has been a revelation for the Giants this year, and we've seen good offensive seasons from Wilmer before, but this guy is kind of showing us why the Giants didn't really go out and get a first baseman in free agency. They had the luxury of Wilmer Flores being in the franchise. And I was pretty vocal in the offseason about thinking that they needed to go somewhere else and get some help. And I didn't think that they were going to go get Pete Alonso. I thought that was kind of a pipe dream. But I even was advocating for a guy like Carlos Santana, a guy who would be what I thought was an upgrade over any of these first basemen the Giants had on the roster. Could you imagine, could just imagine for a second, a world in which the Giants did not have Wilmer back this year and he went somewhere else and did this, and they brought in someone like Carlos Santana? We would be livid. We would be, just beside ourselves for what is happening with Wilmer right now. I am so glad this team did not give up on Wilmer Flores. I'm so glad that this team has allowed him to continue to be in the fold and has really done everything they can to get him back on the horse. And I just love watching this guy go out there and have success. He's one of my favorite Giants of the last couple of years, just because his attitude, his vibe. I just love the vibe of a Wilmer Flores. and he's just in a flow state right now. My guy cannot be stopped. So the Giants gave Landen Roupp a 2-0 lead before he even stepped foot on the mound today. In the bottom of the first, Roupp started it off by striking out the side. All swinging strikeouts. The first one came on a changeup. The other two were curveballs. And then he proceeded to strike out the first batter of the second inning as well. So first 4 guys that he saw come up to the plate today, he sat him down all swinging. So, but before that, before he got out there for the bottom of the second, the Giants had another home run in the top of the second. Luis Matos cranked one to left center field. It was originally called a double off the wall, but upon further review, they decided it was in fact a home run. Hit that wall about a half a foot above the yellow line out at the base of the arches in left center field. It was a decent pitch. It caught the black on the inside part of the plate, about belt high though. And I mean, I think he was just looking inside and he got what he was looking for. And Matos swatted that one, gave the Giants a 3-0 lead. And then they weren't done scoring in that inning yet. Yaz then walks, steals another base, his second of the year already. Then Tyler Fitzgerald walks, it puts 2 on, 1 out for Heliot Ramos at the dish. And with the runners on the move, he swats a double on a hit. And basically it was a hit and run. And both runners score. And now they tied Felipe Alou for most consecutive games with an extra base hit. Heliot Ramos did with that double in the gap. That's something that hasn't been done since 1963. The most consecutive games with an extra base hit to start the season in Giants franchise history. Just amazing stuff from Heliot Ramos, who also added a pretty sick diving catch there in the 9th inning. This guy's doing it all. He's got improved defense. He's obviously got that extra base hit capability and just home run ability that we have been desperately looking for in left field for a very, very long time. He's also shown you this season that he can move on those base paths. Heliot Ramos doing everything you could possibly want out of a young superstar, like budgeting superstar in left field. He is, I mean, could you imagine this team without Heliot Ramos? I don't know that they would be 4-1 at this point or 5-1 at this point. I don't know that they would be 5-1 without Heliot Ramos on this team. So Giants take a 5-0 lead into the bottom of the second and really making Framber Valdez work. Dude threw 49 pitches through the first 2 innings. And this is one of the best aces in all of baseball. Valdez has been very solid for the last few years for the Astros. I expect him to be solid again this year, but man, the Giants jumped all over him early on. Astros got a run back there in the second that Roupp yielded after giving up a couple 2-out walks. And that's kind of the issue with Landen Roupp from today. He also walked 2 more in the 5th inning, gave up a single in between those 2 walks, and loaded the bases with nobody out. He had to get pulled for Randy Rodriguez at that point, and he was looking a little shaky. I mean, I think that he was so locked in at the beginning of this game with the strikeouts, and he was just hitting his spots so perfectly that he continued to try and just paint those corners. And the Astros stopped chasing stuff that was out of the zone. So it was a good adjustment by the Astros hitters to stop chasing things that looked like they were going to be strikes, but ended up out of the zone. And Roupp, he's just got to live in that strike zone a little bit more. Cut down on those walks. He did finish the day with 8 strikeouts. Landen Roupp was really doing it out there. Really, really good swing and miss stuff, but ultimately ends up giving up 4 hits and 4 walks through 4 innings of work. 3 runs charged to him. That's a 6.75 ERA. You want to see that get better. Obviously, it would have been nice to see him get through that 5th inning so that he could have earned the win today. He did not. So Landen Roupp, some things to work on, but also you see the talent. You see what he's capable of doing. And I really do think that it's going to be tough for any Giants young arm to supplant him in this starting rotation. I think Landen Roupp is the best option that they have of these young arms. And credit my guy, Walter Ikabalseta, my former coworker at KMBR. He, before anybody else, before Brian Murphy, before FP Santangelo, before any of those baseball hardos at that radio station, Walter Ikabalseta was the guy telling me, look out for Landen Roupp. And I was like, are you sure, man? They got Hayden Birdsong and Carson Wisenhunt and all these other dudes. He was like, no, it's Landen Roupp, baby. And I believe him at this point. I'm all on board. 83 pitches for Roupp today. 46 of them were strikes. Again, you'd like to see him live in that strike zone a little bit more. But when he came out of this game, it was a sweaty situation. And in comes Randy Rodriguez. And off the bat of Alvarez, a hard low line drive to first base, gets under the glove of Casey Schmidt. 2-run score. It was initially ruled an error, but it was later changed to a hit, which means the Giants still have not committed an error this season. The only team in all of baseball to have no errors through this point in the season. Night and day difference from what we had last season, where this team could not, they could not field a ground ball, especially on the left side of the infield at shortstop. I mean, Chappie is Chappie. We all know that he's super solid over there at third base. But man, that made me happy to see that change to a hit, because although I do think Casey could have made the play, I don't think it's a play that he should have made or that you can expect him to make. I mean, that was a missile off the bat of Alvarez. And I mean, it was a very, very tough angle for him to field it. Nonetheless, Giants maintained a 5-3 lead after that. And Rodriguez somehow got out of that inning without any more damage. A shallow pop out in foul ground and a strikeout. And you saw Justin Verlander waiting for him on the top step of the dugout as he returned. Big deal to instill that confidence in the young guys like that when it's coming from a guy like Verlander, who, by the way, is going to be making his next start on Friday for the Giants home opener versus the Mariners. Can't not wait for that day. So baseball's back here at Oracle Park in a couple days. I get to see the home cream jerseys. I just love the cream jerseys, man. It's just something about them. White jerseys just don't hit the same. Shout out that team down south that we don't mention by name on this show. But for the rest of the game, it wasn't just Randy Rodriguez coming out of the pen. Hayden Birdsong made his first appearance of 2025 coming out of the pen. I was a little interested to see how this was going to go, because I think he profiles more as a starter, but he looked great out of the pen, man. And he did a very, very, very good job. He had 2 innings of work, didn't give up any runs, only 1 walk, gave up a couple hits. So he had to work around some issues there with runners on base, but he was able to get out of it with no damage done. In comes Tyler Rogers next, who has a very clean inning, 2 strikeouts, no runners on base. And then in comes Camilo Doval, who picks up his second save of the season. It seems like he and Ryan Walker are kind of working in tandem for the save opportunities, which I kind of like. It keeps both guys fresh, creates that healthy competition within the organization. And I think Camilo Doval really looks great so far this season. Looks like he's got that swagger back. I got my swagger back. And Camilo Doval is just locked in, man. Like, if he is as good as he has been the last couple of years, he is going to be a huge addition to this bullpen. Could be the difference between the Giants being a super, super, super dominant bullpen and just like a middle to good bullpen. And I think really that's going to put him over the top. But the Giants weren't done scoring before we got there. Top of the 8th, Lamonte Wade Jr. picks up his first hit of the season as he mashes a solo home run for his first hit. Hanging cutter that just sits right out over the middle of the plate, and he jumped all over it. 6-3 Giants lead, but it was the first run since the second inning. Astros had scored 3 unanswered during that time, and we're only trailing the Giants by 2 runs. So great piece of hitting from Lamonte Wade. The insurance run, very valuable. And of course, as we mentioned, that Ramos diving snag in left field. We've seen a few of those from him this season already. He's much improved in the field, although he wasn't bad last year in the outfield. So excellent stuff again, all the way around from the Giants. So many good things from this team. Don't go anywhere. We got to give out a player of the game. We've got to talk about the turning point and what you'll be talking about next here on the Locked On Giants postcast. Today's show is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no shells variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days, whether I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, out at Oracle Park, or just need a quick protein boost. They're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, and the in-shell option are still a classic favorite. The fact that Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein providing all 9 essential amino acids, that's one of the best things about this snack. I love that they're healthy and tasty. Get snackin' and get crackin' with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. And today's show is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's me. Every single time I check my bank account, that's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building personal wealth. Tons of surprising insights from Monarch Money. When I started using it, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. And now I budget smarter and save a little more. I got the meal prep in the kitchen. I got to go eat a little bit after this show, man. I got some other things to wrap up for my other job first, but I'm starving, man. Super hungry right now. Can't get my mind off the food. But Monarch Money also makes it easy to collaborate. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and the Giants, man, 6-3 win over the Astros. I see the chat just absolutely going off today. Tons of brooms. I love seeing all the brooms in the chat. That makes me so happy. And I see a lot of guys from that I know from other appearances I've done on other shows, Rockin' New Era and Tacky. What's up, dudes? Well, thanks for joining in on the Locked On Giants postcast. Hope you guys stick around for the rest of the season. So today, the Giants, man, we got to get into a few essential things before we get on out of here. The player of the game, the turning point, and what you'll be talking about. Let's start with today's player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
And I'm going to give it to Heliot Ramos. We've been giving it to Wilmer Flores. I'm going to go Heliot Ramos today, not just for the extra base hit that he had that delivered 2 runs for the Giants, but also for that diving snag in left field, giving Camilo Doval extra confidence in his defense behind him, because how many times last year did we see Camilo Doval start to melt down when there would be errors behind him? I think when that happened last year, he would start to press and start to think he had to be perfect out there on the mound. When you know that you got a defense behind you that can pick you up, oh man, it gives you all the confidence in the world as a pitcher. And Heliot Ramos, aside from doing it at the dish, gives Camilo Doval that confidence. Plus, my guy's doing something that hasn't been done since the 1960s, since the pre-Jerry Garcia Grateful Dead. That was back in the Pigpen days. And I mean, I cannot believe that Heliot Ramos is doing what he's doing. This guy's going to be an all-star this year. Again, book it. If you can find a line for it, bet it. I mean, Heliot Ramos, dude's amazing. Dude's a revelation for this team. The best left fielder that we've had since Barry Blank and Bonds, man. So Heliot Ramos is today's player of the game. But we also got to talk about the turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
And the turning point we're going with is Randy Rodriguez, man. This guy comes out there in the bottom of the 5th with the bases juiced and a 1-run lead, and a 4-run lead, excuse me. But you had the tying run at the dish. Randy Rodriguez comes in with nobody out and somehow works out of it. I mean, even though there were those 2 runs that scored, he realistically, could have gotten out of that inning unscathed had Casey Schmidt been able to handle that ball at first base, which again was ruled a hit later on. It was originally ruled an error, but later on changed to a hit. So the Giants still have no errors this season. That's a great, great, great statistic for all you hardos out there that love defense in baseball like me. And Randy Rodriguez he was not shaken after that play. He did not go back out there and press. He immediately got out of the inning. He got a shallow pop-up and foul ground, got a strikeout to end the inning, and he just looked dominant, man. Like that 100-mile-an-hour zip coming out of his hand looked so, so, so good. So that is our turning point for today. And before we get on out of here, here's what you'll be talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
And aside from Heliot Ramos being the first Giant since Felipe Alou in 1963 to have an extra base hit in his first 6 games, of the season for the Giants, I mean, franchise record, at least ties for the franchise record, I think you'll be talking about this bullpen, man, because they have so many options out there. Hayden Birdsong has been the last guy out of the bullpen this season. Or is the last guy out of the bullpen so far this season. The final Giant to make his appearance in 2025 in their opening day roster. So I think that this is a very good sign. If the bottom of the barrel from the bullpen is Hayden Birdsong, man, look out. This Giants bullpen could potentially be, a top 5, top 3 bullpen in all of baseball. So there you have it. That's all the time we got for you guys today. Sorry we didn't get to too much going on in the chat for this show. We'll continue to try to do that. They're just so short, man. 20 minutes. Not enough time, man. Not enough time. But we got to get on out of here. I appreciate every single one of you for joining in, listening, and making us, commenting, making it an interactive experience. Shout out to every single one of you everydayers. Appreciate all of you guys. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll see you next time, which is Friday after the home opener against the Mariners. We'll see you then. Peace.